Hi, hello, namaste to everyone, and namaste to all my dear student friends. Hoping that all are fine with your family members. Welcome back to Biomolecules video class 4. Dear students, in our last 3 video classes, we come across regarding introduction to the biomolecules and its application, followed by carbohydrates and classification of carbohydrates and relative sweetness of sugars. And in my third video class, we come across regarding structural elucidation of glucose. That is structural elucidation of open chain structure of glucose. So now let me recall that structural elucidation of glucose once, and later let me move for the further class today. Okay. Friends, in the last class, that is regarding the structural elucidation of glucose. As we know, in the 19th century, Bayer given the open chain structure of glucose. Means on what evidence he written the structure of glucose. That is, as we know, first point, that is molecular formula. First point is regarding molecular formula. In the last class we came to know the molecular formula of the glucose is C6H12O6. That is, from the elemental analysis and molecular mass determination, we came to know the molecular formula of glucose is C6H12O6. Then what is the further evidences? That is, we are writing the structure of glucose in open chain structure. That is, it consists of 6 carbon unbranched chain. We are writing 6 carbon unbranched chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So what is the evidence for presence of 6 carbon unbranched chain in glucose? So for that they made the reaction. What is that reaction? That reaction concludes a presence of 6 carbon chain, isn't it? And what is that reaction? That is, when glucose reacts with hydroiodic acid, it given N-hexane. It gives N-hexane. Formation of N-hexane, that is C6H14. It is a open chain structure, isn't it? It is not an aromatic compound. Think that if I got aromatic compound, then today we used to write the structure of glucose in the form of benzene ring, isn't it? So that's what. So that is, formation of hexane indicates glucose consists of open chain structure, that is straight chain structure. That's what today we are writing the structure of glucose like this. That is the second evidence. Then third evidence, presence of carbonyl group. Presence of carbonyl group in glucose, that is first carbon, it contains carbonyl group. What is the evidence for presence of carbonyl group in glucose? For that they have made reactions. Then what is that reaction? Of course, they come across two reactions, and we can remember any one reaction here. That is, one is with hydrogen cyanide, another is with hydroxyl amine. Another is with hydroxyl amine. When 1 mole of glucose reacts with hydrogen cyanide, it gives glucose hydrocyanide. It gives glucocyanohydrine. It gives glucocyanohydrine. Formation of glucocyanohydrine indicates a presence of what? Carbonyl group in glucose. Otherwise, you can go with this reaction also. When glucose reacts with hydroxylamine, it gives glucose oxime. Formation of 1 mole of glucose oxime indicates a presence of carbonyl group in glucose. Next, when the carbonyl group is present, look at the valency of carbon. 1, 2, 3. Then 1 should be, it may be hydrogen. If it is hydrogen, it becomes a aldehyde. If it is a R group, it becomes ketone. So that's what. The third point indicates a presence of carbonyl group. Presence of carbonyl group indicates a glucose may contain either aldehyde or ketone. Of course, later we came to know a glucose is a neutral molecule. When glucose is neutral, then it does not contain acidic carboxylic group, isn't it? So hence, there might be a presence of what? Aldehydic group. That is, fourth point, presence of aldehydic group. Presence of aldehydic group. presence of aldehyde group. This aldehyde group is present here. This is what the presence of aldehyde group. Then what is the evidence for the presence of aldehyde group in glucose? For that they made the reaction, that is when glucose is treated with mild oxidizing agent like bromine water. When glucose is treated with mild oxidizing agent like bromine water, glucose undergo oxidation to form gluconic acid. Gluconic acid is a monocarboxylic acid. Formation of gluconic acid indicates a presence of what? Aldehyde group in glucose. Of course, in the last class I mentioned, think that if glucose contain ketone, what happens if I use a mild oxidizing agent, bromine water? There will be no reaction. When we treat a mild oxidizing agent with ketone, there is no reaction. So that indicates glucose does not contain ketone, it contains aldehyde. Then what happens if I treat with strong oxidizing agent? If I treat with strong oxidizing agent with ketone, think that if glucose contain ketone, when I treat with strong oxidizing agent, I am going to get the product whose carbon atoms are less than glucose. So that's what that indicates what? A presence of aldehyde group in glucose. That is, when glucose is treated with a mild oxidizing agent like bromine water, it gives gluconic acid. Formation of gluconic acid indicates a presence of aldehyde group. Next question is presence of what? OH group. See, first carbon is a aldehyde group. The remaining how many carbon atoms? Total 5 are there. That's what. Next question. It may contain 5 OH group, 5 hydroxy group. Now again the question is, what is the proof? What is the evidence for the presence of 5 OH group? Of course, in last class I mentioned, that is presence of 5 OH group. What is the evidence? For that what they have made? When glucose reacts with acetic anhydride, especially a 5 moles of acetic anhydride, when glucose reacts with 5 moles of acetic anhydride, it gives glucose pentaacetate. Formation of glucose pentaacetate indicates a presence of 5 OH group in glucose. See the product what we got, glucose pentaacetate, not hexaacetate. If we got hexaacetate, then we used to think 6 OH group in glucose. If we got tetraacetate, then we used to think 4 OH group in glucose. But we got pentaacetate, means they got pentaacetate when they treated with what? Acetic anhydride. It indicates a presence of 5 OH group in glucose. Then what about the remaining valency? Remaining valency of the carbon can be satisfied by writing what? Hydrogen. H. Remaining valency you satisfy by writing hydrogen. Then look at the last carbon here, 6th carbon. What is this? This is called what? A primary alcoholic group. This is a primary alcoholic group. That is 6th one or CH2OH. Then what is the evidence for the presence of primary alcoholic group in glucose? Of course, for that also they have made a reaction. What is that? When glucose is treated with a strong oxidizing agent, it gives glucaric acid or saccharic acid. Formation of glucaric acid or saccharic acid indicates a presence of what? A primary alcoholic group in glucose. Okay, regarding all these things I have explained deeply in my video class 3. Okay, just I am recalling this one. Okay, see, from all these evidences, Bayer given the open chain structure of glucose like this. This is what the open chain structure of glucose. Of course, it is given in the 19th century. Later, the structure is confirmed by the Kilani by its synthesis. Okay, friends, this is what about our previous class. It is about our previous class. Now let me look at here. What is the IUPAC name of glucose? What is the IUPAC name of glucose? What is the IUPAC name of glucose? Look at. This is a carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay. See, focus on OH group. How many OH groups are there? 5 are there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are present on second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon, fifth carbon and sixth carbon. Hence you write 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many OH? Penta. 5 are there. Penta, hydroxy. Pentahydroxy. Total number of carbon atoms 6. Pentahydroxy. Hexanal. Pentahydroxy hexanal. Last Al. Al indicates aldehyde. So on second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth carbon, it contains OH group. That's what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pentahydroxy. Hexa means overall number of carbon atoms. That is 6. Hexanal. Null Al indicates aldehyde. So in exam also, while writing the IUPAC name of glucose, please take care the last two letters. That is especially this one, Al. Instead of A, if it looks like O, it becomes hexanol. OL means alcohol. It goes wrong. Okay, it should be Al, hexanal. Okay, friends, let me further say what are the structures given for glucose. What are the other structures given for glucose? Let me mention all the 4 types of structures on the board now. First one, open chain structure. Open chain structure. This is a normal structure. C double bond O H. Fourth carbon, fifth carbon and sixth carbon. Look at here. HOH. 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 This is last one, CS2OH. This is the open chain structure of glucose. Next, configuration structure. Configuration structure of glucose. Configuration structure. Look at what makes the change when we write configuration structure, when we compare the open chain structure. See, carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3, 4, 5, 6. Carbon 1, carbon 2 are same. Carbon 3, the OH group is present at left side, H should be at right side. 4, 5 and 6 are same. That is HOH, HOH. So instead of writing CH2OH, CHHOH, let me write as, of course you can write like that also. For convenient purpose we can write CS2OH also. Okay. See, OH is at what? Left side, especially in case of third carbon atom. This is the configuration structure of what? Glucose. The another one is cyclic ring structure. Cyclic ring structure, that is Fischer's cyclic ring structure. Fischer's cyclic ring structure. See, C double bond O H. See, in order to write the Fischer cyclic ring structure, very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. From the fifth carbon, the OH group, is linked to the carbonyl group, that is aldehyde group of glucose. Here, OH is there, na? Okay. This hydrogen, it will go and links with what? Oxygen to form OH. So let me remove this hydrogen now. Now valency of oxygen, it should be 2 always, okay? Let me remove this valency now. One bond, here one bond will be 2 valency. Then carbon valency 4. So this oxygen, it makes a hemiacetal ring like this. Hemiacetal ring like this. So let me show this oxygen in middle here. This is what about the Fischer's cyclic ring structure of glucose. Next is the Haworth structure. Haworth structure. How it is written? Let me write it. So this is the Haworth structure of what? Glucose. Based on here. Let me explain how to write this Haworth structure, all those things later. Now just roughly I am writing this one. Roughly I am writing just to show you what are the structures of glucose, types of structures of glucose. Let me explain how to write this one later. So this is the Haworth structure of what? Glucose. Okay, look at here friends. What makes the difference? Total 4 types of structures are there. Now the question is, of course, in our last video class we come across regarding structural elucidation of open chain structure of glucose. Means only up to here. Only up to here, open chain structure. How they given the open chain structure of glucose we came to know. By all the evidences of what? Based on the particular reaction which indicates presence of 6 carbon atom, presence of carbonyl group, presence of aldehyde group and presence of 5 OH group and presence of primary alkyl group. From all that evidences we came to know the structure like this. And then second one, that is configuration structure. Configuration structure, that is glucose open chain structure. This is a open chain configuration structure. Both are same. What makes the difference is third carbon differs. In configuration structure, third carbon differs. See, for this also they have made a particular chemical reaction. Based on the particular chemical reaction, they came to know that on the third carbon also OH is present at left side. Okay, that is not there for your syllabus. Okay, so anyhow, then Fischer cyclic ring structure. What is the reason why they given the Fischer cyclic ring structure? Dear students, glucose, it is a reducing sugar, means it contain a free aldehyde group, correct? A presence of aldehyde group means it reduces Tollens reagent, Fehling solution and Bendix reagent, correct? The presence of aldehyde group in glucose, hence it is a reducing sugar because it reduces following reagents, Tollens reagent, Fehling solution and Bendix reagent. When it reduces all those reagents, means that indicates it contain aldehyde group. Glucose contain aldehyde group. But glucose failed to give some reactions with Skiff's reagent. Skiff's reagent, it reacts with aldehyde especially and it gives pink color. When glucose contains aldehyde, then it should react with Skiff's reagent and it should give pink color. But glucose failed to give pink color with Skiff's reagent. And similarly, glucose failed to give a white precipitate with sodium bisulfite. Glucose failed to give a white precipitate with sodium bisulfite. Glucose failed to give a white precipitate with what? Sodium bisulfite. Glucose failed to react with what? Skiff's reagent. Skiff's reagent, it does not give any pink color. And similarly, glucose failed to react with what? Grignard reagent. It does not show reaction with Grignard reagent. Even a glucose pentaacetate, it failed to react with what? Hydroxylamine. See, all these evidences, all this shows evidence that in glucose, aldehyde group is not free. Aldehyde group is not free. Means the aldehyde group in glucose is busy. That's why it is failed to react with what? Skiff's reagent, sodium bisulfite, Grignard reagent. So that made them to think to give the another structure which is given by E. Fischer, which is given by E. Fisher, that is Fisher's cyclic ring structure. Not only that one, glucose exists in two forms. Glucose exists in two forms. One is alpha glucose, another is beta glucose. A glucose, a sugar, it exists in two forms. A crystalline form of glucose exists in two forms, alpha glucose and beta glucose. See, alpha glucose, it is having a melting point of 419 Kelvin, whereas beta glucose is having a melting point of 423 Kelvin. So that shows that glucose exists in two forms. Alpha glucose is different. It is having 419 Kelvin temperature melting point, whereas beta glucose is having 423 Kelvin melting point. And also, this alpha glucose is extracted by the crystallization of a concentrated aqueous solution. At 303 Kelvin. Whereas beta glucose is extracted by the crystallization of a saturated aqueous solution of glucose at 371 Kelvin. So that clearly indicates glucose exists in two forms. And also, this alpha glucose is having the optical rotation of 119 degree. Whereas this beta glucose is having optical rotation of 19 degree. Sorry, this is I think 1 minute. It is having 112 degree. The optical rotation of glucose is 112 degree, whereas beta glucose is having 19 degree. Means the optical rotation of two glucose is also different. That indicates glucose exists in two forms. Then what is the evidence? Of course, just now we came to know with respect to the reactions. Now this is the another evidence that glucose exists in two forms. One is alpha form and beta form. So, because to all this reason, later they given the structure, that is Fisher cyclic ring structure, in order to indicate two forms of structure, that is alpha and beta. Apart from that, based on the reaction also, they came to know the aldehyde group is busy in glucose. That's what they given the Fisher cyclic ring structure, which indicates here the aldehyde group is busy. So anyhow friends, this is what about the cyclic ring structure. Now the another question, then why they given the Haber structure? See, the Haber structure is given in order to explain a spatial arrangement of the groups surrounding the carbon atom. In order to explain a three-dimensional spatial arrangement of what? A groups present around the carbon. That is, let me take this carbon, OH, H and this group and this group. In order to explain the spatial arrangement of a functional group, otherwise a substituent present around the carbon, Haworth, a W.N. Haworth, who is an English chemist, who given a three-dimensional structure of glucose to explain the spatial arrangement of what? Atoms around the carbon atom in glucose. So that's what he given this structure. Of course, for that he considered the two structures. One is of a 6-membered ring, another of 5-membered ring. For 6-membered ring, he considered a reference structure is pyron. For 5-membered, he considered reference structure furan. What is that pyron and furan? Pyron is the heterocyclic compound whose structure is like this. A heterocyclic compound which consists of 5 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen. This is what pyron. Then what is furan? Furan, it is a 5-membered ring structure. 5-membered ring structure. See, 5-membered heterocyclic compound with 4 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen. 4 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 oxygen. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1 oxygen. It is 6-membered, it is 5-membered. 4 carbon, one oxygen, whereas this is 5 carbon and 1 oxygen. Total this is 6 membered, this is 5 membered. As a reference structure, he considered this 2 and given this is what he took the structure, that is pyran, and for the glucose he given pyranose. Similarly, we can use this 5 membered ring structure also for to write the structure of what? Fructose, that is furanose, like that. Friends, this is what regarding the why they given the 4 different structures for glucose. Okay, so anyhow, see one concept I want to explain here. Look at here, alpha glucose and beta glucose. Of course, let me show you later how to write the structure of alpha glucose, beta glucose, everything. Let me explain that one later. Okay, see alpha glucose 112 degree, the optical rotation. The optical rotation for alpha glucose is 112 degree, whereas for beta glucose it is 19 degree. See, glucose exhibits mutarotation. Glucose exhibits mutarotation. Then what is this mutarotation? What is this mutarotation? Means the change in the optical rotation of a solution of a glucose. Mutarotation can be defined as the change in the optical rotation of a solution of a glucose of either forms. Either forms means alpha form and beta form. Until we get a constant value, is called mutarotation. See, glucose exhibits a property of what? Mutarotation. Then what is mutarotation? Mutarotation can be defined as it is a change in the optical rotation of a solution of a glucose of either forms. It may be alpha form or beta form. Okay? When you take these two solutions, alpha glucose and beta glucose solution, when you subject it for optical rotation, its optical rotation keep on changing. It keep on changing until it gets a constant value. That is process is called mutarotation. That is alpha glucose is having what? 112 degree plus 112 degree because it is a dextrorotatory compound, alpha glucose. Beta glucose it is having 19 degree. When I subject these two solutions, alpha and beta glucose for optical rotation, see, let me consider a solution here. It consists of what? Both alpha glucose and beta glucose. Alpha glucose and beta glucose. Okay? Yeah, alpha glucose and beta glucose. When you subject it for optical rotation, what happens? This is 112 alpha glucose. Its optical rotation keep on changes. It keep on changes means its optical rotation decreases. It decreases and remains constant. At what degree? At 53 degree. Similarly, beta glucose also same. It is actually 19 degree. Its optical rotation keep on changes. It keep on changes and it stops by what? By 53 degree. The constant value beta, it is also 53, alpha also gets 53. So that's what? The change in optical rotation of either form of the glucose, maybe alpha and beta, until they get a constant value is called mutarotation. Means alpha is converting 112 to 53, beta from 19 to 53. So what is the constant value? Mutarotation value means 53 for both glucose. This is called mutarotation. Look at alpha value decreases whereas beta value goes on increases. Okay dear students, now let me explain regarding the configuration structure in details, followed by how to write the Fisher cyclic ring structure and followed by how to convert a Fisher cyclic ring structure into Haworth structure. Students, for that first let me go with naming these structures. Say the open chain structure, normally we can name it as glucose. Okay, whereas configuration structure, it is named as D plus glucose. Write the open chain structure of D plus glucose. Means here the term D indicates configuration. Here I am not written any D or anything else, but here I am mentioning this is a normal structure where all the OH groups are present at the right hand side only. This is the configuration structure. Look at here. Third carbon OH will be at left side. Okay, fine. So anyhow, now what is the meaning of D glucose? What is the why we are indicating plus sign here? Friends, plus indicates dextrorotatory. Dextrorotatory. The positive sign indicates glucose is optically active compound. It turns the plane polarized light towards the right hand side. Glucose turns a plane polarized light towards right hand side, hence it is indicated by plus. Think, if glucose turns a plane polarized light at left hand side, it is indicated by minus. So hope it is clear. Plus means dextrorotatory, minus means levorotatory. Levorotatory. But keep in the mind, glucose is a dextrorotatory. That's why symbol plus. Then why we are writing D? D indicates it is a configuration. Just D is alphabet indicates configuration. D configuration, L configuration. Of course, glucose exists in D configuration only. Then on what basis we have to write D or L? See, for that let me explain a structure of glyceraldehyde. A basic structure. Let me go with what? How to name D or L configuration. L configuration for sugars. Look at here. See, glyceraldehyde. It is a trisaccharide. It is a trisaccharide. Correct? Trisaccharide. See, now let me name it as glyceraldehyde. Glyceraldehyde. Okay, now let me write D-glyceraldehyde. D-glyceraldehyde. So why you written D here? See, D indicates configuration. Based on what? Based on the position of OH group on the asymmetric carbon. On the asymmetric carbon. Means now I need to identify the asymmetric carbon in glyceraldehyde. Where is the asymmetric carbon? So before that, first you know what is the meaning of asymmetric carbon. That is a carbon with 4 different groups. Valency of carbon is 4. A carbon with 4 different groups. That is, let me take it as A, X, Y, Z. See, all 4 groups are different. That is called asymmetric carbon. Then focus here. Let me take carbon number 1. Let me take carbon number 1. Is it asymmetric? This bond is with hydrogen. This is with what? Entire. Let me consider as R group. Okay. And these 2 bonds are attached with what? Same oxygen. Hence it is not asymmetric. It is symmetry. So leave that one. Focus on the second carbon. Second carbon. This bond is attached with what? Let me consider as R group. This is OH different. H is different. This is different. This is the asymmetric carbon. Let me mark it as a star. One asymmetric carbon. Okay. Then what about the third carbon? What about the third carbon? Third carbon, look at the valency. This is different. This is different. But these two are same. Hence it is a symmetry, not asymmetry. Means glyceraldehyde contain only one asymmetric carbon. That is second carbon. Now, based on the position of OH group on the asymmetric carbon, if OH group is present at right hand side, then it is called D-glyceraldehyde. D-glyceraldehyde. If OH group is present at left hand side, if the OH group is present at left hand side, if OH group is present at left hand side, if OH is present at left hand side, that is called L-glyceraldehyde. Here OH is at right hand side, here OH is at left hand side. This is L-glyceraldehyde. L-glyceraldehyde. Getting? Based on the position of OH group on the asymmetric carbon. Here asymmetric carbon contain OH on the right hand side, that is why it is called D-glyceraldehyde. Here it is contained left hand side, hence it is called L-glyceraldehyde. That is what the term D and L indicates. So here glucose. Sir, what about the glucose, sir? How many asymmetric carbons are there in glucose? Let me count. Look at here. First carbon, 2 bonds are with only oxygen. Means it is a symmetry. Second, this is different, this is different, this is different, this is entire different. Hence, this is the asymmetric carbon. This is also asymmetric carbon. See, this entire group is different. This is entire group is different. It is different and this is different. Similarly. Okay. Is it asymmetric? It is not asymmetric. This is a symmetric carbon because carbon bonded with similar groups. It is symmetry. But how many asymmetric are there total now? 1, 2, 3 and 4. Means glucose contain 4 asymmetric carbon. 4 asymmetric carbon. Now the question is, D and L can be written based on position of OH group on right or left side. Okay. So now here, on which carbon I have to choose? Which carbon I have to choose? Whether a second carbon, a third or fourth, like that. See friends, keep in your mind, from the functional group, the farthest asymmetric carbon you have to choose. From the functional group, that is from the carbonyl or aldehyde group, which is the farthest asymmetric carbon. Which is the far asymmetric carbon? The far is, this is not, this is the farthest asymmetric carbon which contain OH group is at right side. Then it is called D-glucose. If it contain left side, then it is called L-glucose. But keep in the mind, glucose always exists in D configuration, that is D plus glucose. Then Fischer cyclic ring structure. Okay friends, look at here. That is Fischer cyclic ring structure. What is the name of this Fischer cyclic ring structure? It is written as alpha D plus glucose. Alpha D plus glucose. See, the new entry, that is alpha. D plus glucose already we come across here. Okay, the new entry, that is alpha, we are mentioning. Then when I have to mention alpha, when I have to mention beta, that makes the question here. Okay, see, first let me explain when I have to mention alpha. See, very simple. The farthest asymmetric carbon from the functional group is 5th carbon, correct? So from the 5th carbon, OH is there. Correct? This hydrogen, it attacks the oxygen of functional group. And becomes what? OH here. It becomes OH. Then double bond ruptures. It becomes single bond. Okay. Then one of the valence is opened here. Okay. So further what happens? What is left? Oxygen is left. This oxygen makes bonding with what? Carbon. This oxygen, I written this oxygen here. Okay. It makes a bonding with what? Carbon. First carbon. It forms what? Fischer cyclic ring structure. This is what? Internal hemiacetal bond or hemiacetal structure. Okay. So that is, now look at here. From 5th carbon linked with what? Functional group, that is first carbon. Now, based on the position of OH group on the first carbon, this carbon is called anomeric carbon or anomeric center. Okay. See, if the OH group is at right hand side, that is called alpha glucose. If OH is present at left hand side, that is called beta glucose. Okay. If I write the OH group at left side, it becomes beta D plus glucose. If I write OH at right side, it becomes alpha D plus glucose. Based on what? Based on the position of OH group on the anomeric carbon. Hence, alpha glucose and beta glucose are called anomers. Alpha glucose and beta glucose are called anomers because the two structures, the two carbohydrates which are obtained by changing the position of OH group on the anomeric carbon, they are called anomers. Example, alpha glucose, beta glucose are example for what? Anomers. Similarly, fructose also, alpha fructose, beta fructose, like that. Fine. So as friends, Next is have a structure. So regarding have a structure, let me explain in the next class. Okay, thank you.